Welcome to Speak Free with Matty G, the podcast that celebrates free speech, truth, and open discussion. Hi, and welcome to Speak Free with Matty G, episode 15. Joining me today is a good mate of mine, Jarryd Faint. And, mate, well, what haven't you done? You're a businessman, you're a chef, you're well known in the Hawkesbury area, and that's what we're going to talk about today a bit, about your business ventures, some events you're going to be running, and that you have run in the past, and also working in the hospitality industry. So, welcome.
Thank you. I haven't done porn, which is what I thought we walked into when I did this. This is great. I'm buzzed. I'm pumped.
There is a casting couch.
There is a casting couch here, right? Cool. Let's book them in. Very good. No, thanks for having me, Matt. I'm super pumped.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Now, obviously, we work together at Clara Tav. That's how we know each other, and I've known your sister for a while now as well, so that's the connection there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're the head chef at Clara Tav. Well, yeah, you basically do everything there.
Yeah, sort of temporary sort of help and do whatever I've got to do there. So, no, it's really good. So, new owners there at Clarendon Tavern. So, we're working there for Luke Anderson, which is great. He's really awesome there. So, I think he's taking it in the right direction.
100%.
So, I'm there to just sort of assist with the kitchen and get the team up and running and go from there. So, new menus, doing the function menus. Bit of the graphics and artwork and promotions, all that sort of stuff as well. Super pumped. It's good. It's good fun.
Yeah, and speaking of functions, now this will be coming out next Tuesday.
Yes.
So we would have just ran Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
But that is out now.
So Valentine's Day was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a success. It was great.
We killed it. Huge success. I'm very tired from working there last night.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But you do have a menu out for that. And do you enjoy doing those sort of things for special events like Australia Day?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think Luke's pretty keen to sort of do the promotions at the pub, and I said, well, let's hook in. Australia Day was the first sort of big event there, and I sort of thought, let's do some Australia Day food, and fuck me. So we did we brought out the 1970 prawn cocktails. We had prawns hanging off the side of the glasses and lamingtons, because Lamingtons are Australian. They're not New Zealand. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah. So I did lamingtons, rissoles, prawn cocktail. We did
cob
loaf, which was a huge hit. So the menu was tacky of the highest order. It was cringeworthy tacky. Sold out.
Yeah.
Absolutely sold out. They just couldn't keep up with anything. The prawn cocktails were just flying out the door. And the menu was great. The food was fantastic. It just was just so tacky. And I've gone, and Luke came down to look at the menu and went, how good's this? And it's great and blah, blah, blah. And I went, it's not the height of my culinary expertise. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Hanging prawns off the side of a fucking glass. So anyway, we moving forward, and it was great. Australia Day was awesome. It was really good. Awesome vibe down there, as you know, and everyone was just pumped. So Valentine's Day was sort of the next one that we rolled into, and I went, well, I might, I'll fancy it up a bit, do something a bit flash, So we've got a nice menu going. So $69. So $69 per head. You can work out, So I thought I'd be a bit cheeky with the marketing on that one, but yeah. $69, dinner for two, Valentine's Day, very appropriate. We're going really well. So a bit of fun. Menus certainly stepped up. It's going really well. And we're just rolling with the punches. So we do the hot rocks there, which were great. So from a chef's perspective, I didn't think the hot rocks were really much of a thing when I walked into that venue, but certainly from a kitchen operations perspective, we can, as you know, we can turn them out really, really quick, and the punter loves it. It's a bit of theatre, and it goes really well for Clarendon. So where I wasn't a fan of them at the start, sort of seeing the whole operation, they do work. So the hot rocks are really good down there.
Oh, people love them, especially lunchtime. Yeah. $10 lunch menu. Fuck yeah, now.
Can't keep up, mate.
Oh, you can't keep up. And that front of house, I fucking hate the hot rocks because I've got to carry the cunts back.
That's right. And one at a time, mind you.
Yeah.
And then it was an absolute stroke of genius, the hot rock on the lunch menu. $10 for a hot rock, it's great. And look, from a labour's perspective, it's quick to get out. So, stroke of genius. tick for Jarryd. Yeah. So,
So going back, obviously you've been in this industry for a long time now.
yes.
How did you get started? What was your first hospitality industry job?
Look, as far as the industry's concerned and the master chef, and you get all these stories with tiers and how they want to get into the cooking, and it's such an inspiration. And my mum did it. It was a roll of the dice, and I fucking came up with chef. I should have picked something else. Yeah. Every other trade pays more, but I'm a chef. So, look, I love it. It's great. I started at Luciano's over at Penrith 15, 16 years ago. So I started my apprenticeship there, dropped out of school, and started there, and then went to Penrith Panthers, and then went up the Apple Bar, did a small stint up there, and then back to Panthers, and then just sort of rolled on from there. And both my parents were self-employed, so taking direction I was never a massive fan of. So I sort of opened my first restaurant at 19, which was Restaurant 22, which is about 2 doors up from me. Opened that, traded that for a couple of years, opened up Stock Bar and Grill in Richmond. We built that, so that was an optometrist, and we converted that into a restaurant. That was really good. That was about 120, 150 seater. So we had both venues running. Lease ran out here. Stayed with Stock. That died a death because shopping centre didn't want to renew the lease because they wanted to change people around, and as shopping centres do. So then we did that. Rolled into a couple of pubs. So I had contracts for pubs for the bistros there. So we did that, and it's all a bit of a blur from there. And then fast-tracked as far as venues were concerned. Then we did Wet Your Whistle, which was at the top of Windsor.
Yep.
Which I'm absolutely fucking heartbroken about, because we traded for probably about 8 weeks, 12 weeks maybe, and then COVID hit us. So we were sitting in the fucking dining room, and Scott Morrison comes up on the TV and goes, right, that's it, no more. And I just sunk all the coin into this, and we had some great people helping us out, setting it all up, and it's fucked, done, all over. So that was pretty shattering. That was, and I suppose because that was a good venue. So it was a cocktail bar. So, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights was just it was all happening. So, and certainly on the weekends, it was just a really good vibe up there. I think the offering was extremely good. The level of service was certainly high end. And then COVID hit, and we just couldn't afford to hold it. Landlord was a bit of a dick, so that didn't help, and had to roll out of that. So we then I had a food trailer at the time, so we had that going. So we were just flipping burgers. So flipping burgers through COVID, that got us through. That was good. And then after that, I can't remember. It's all fucking blur through COVID. It was shit. What did we do after that?
Well, would it be the Claro then? Because
probably, yeah. So I think we tacked on to Claro at the other end of that, and
then you had your other lockdown.
Then we had the other lockdown.
But you ran both during that time, didn't you?
Through there, sorry, in between, before that first lockdown, I think I was running Sangoma, so Spice's Retreat.
Right. So
that was before the Whistle. So I was up there as a temporary exec chef up there. What a fucking venue that is. That is absolutely the pinnacle of the hospitality industry in a nutshell.
Is that at?
So that's in Bowen Mountains.
Right,
so in the Hawkesbury we have probably in the top 3 of the country the best exclusive retreat in the country.
Yeah.
So, and that's Sangoma and Emirates. The Emirates, they've got a retreat up there as well. So we've got one of the best in the country retreats just at Bowen Mountains, and it was absolutely spectacular. And I had the privilege of sort of running that for 6 to 8 months, and that pushed my skill set certainly to the limit, because that up there is absolutely top end. So I was doing a real chef job, and it was phenomenal. So I certainly had to step my game up as far as sort of being able to deliver. And then it was just a great venue. I was there temporarily, so that was where I started on the whole zero net waste sort of thing. So we got rid of all the landfill from up at Sangoma, so it was a zero net waste venue. So I started that, and then rolling on, my job was to employ the next sort of the next sort of chefs that go in there. So I was introduced to Will, which is now the head chef up there. He is just an absolute, like, he's next level. Like, you've got chefs, and I suppose I'm alright. I can sort of adapt to most things, and I'm okay at sort of everything across food, but not really great at anything. Just okay at everything, but not great at anything. But Will, that's up there now, the head chef, he's just fucking next level. Like, he's world class. So the food and the service that they provide up there is just fucking phenomenal. It is absolutely second to none.
I'll have to go up there,
and it's
I probably can't afford it.
Yeah. Oh mate, like, it is absolutely top end. Yeah, no, I was looking at the rooms. Like, it was gorgeous. So, but anybody has to go there, and it's at our back door.
Yeah.
So, absolute privilege and highlight of my career, absolutely. So, but yeah, did that, and then now probably rolling into Clarendon now, and so I've been at Hillbilly Cider as well for the last probably 18 months as well. So, head chefing up there, doing the pizzas and all that sort of thing. So, Hillbilly Cider, that's a magic venue as well. So, it's all outdoors and do all their own ciders and all that sort of stuff. So, sort of a running joke is that the ciders are great, but the pizzas are just as good. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, been doing that for ages as well, and yeah, just
loving it
everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, I fucking hate cooking.
Yeah.
I want to do something else. I'm over it. I'm just no good at anything else. That's my problem.
And speaking of, like, I obviously work at the tab now with you as well, and I thought something funny to talk about would be probably worst experiences.
Here we go, God.
Worst experiences you've had in terms of hospitality, whether it's with customers or something that's happened in the kitchen or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Let's talk that through.
Experiences. I suppose, in a nutshell, my customer service skills are pretty good as a whole. However, the customer service is not as good at the high. My customer service is not that great when I'm balls to the wall in the kitchen and I'm pumping out food.
Yeah.
So I suppose my tolerance level for dumb questions or customers at certain times is not the best.
Yeah.
So I acknowledge
like
that.
when they say they've been waiting an hour and they've been...
That's a classic, and I do love that, because the general public should know that when you say you've waited X amount of time for your food, invariably the kitchen has the fucking time on the docket.
Yeah.
So when you come up all stroppy going, I've waited an hour for my food, and you go, hang on, have a look at the docket.
Yeah.
Champ, it's been 20 minutes, pump your brakes.
Yeah.
Saturday night, we're balls to the wall, it's all happening, calm down.
Yeah.
Oh, my wife said it was an hour. Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's
always the blame someone else, isn't it?
Oh, no, that was a stitch up. They're setting me up here. But
it was me, mate.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't come up here acting like you fucking...
So, I don't know. Maybe I just need a full-time customer service liaison officer standing next to me.
Yeah.
It's just... Well, it was like... what was it? When the president had the person that actually spoke to him. What was it? Obama? Remember when he had the other black guy?
Yeah.
I need one of them. So what I say, but that is actually converted into good customer service.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I've had some doozies as far as customers is concerned, which is great. So I had a customer ages ago. I did a fish. It was an empapalote, which is basically baked in a bag. So we did a whole. I think it was a trout at the time. So we baked it in the bag. All the dressing and all that sort of stuff. We sent it out, and then they came up to pay, and I happened to be at the till at the time, and the husband came up, and he was fucking filthy, ropeable, right? And I said, well, how was dinner? Was it all good? And he said, mate, horrendous. My wife's fish was fucked. It was fucking horrible. And I've gone, what do you mean? Like that's a really lovely dish. I said, what do you mean? Like, why? He said, it was terrible. The pastry on it was fucked. And I went, what pastry? He went, the pastry around the fish. And I said, that's baking paper. And he went, he's looked at his wife and went, how much is the bill? I was speechless. I just went, So the customer's not always right.
Yeah.
The customer's not always right. It's right if as long as it suits the business.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, in terms of you've run some events as well, and you're going to run some more.
Yeah.
If you want to talk a bit about that and what it is.
Yeah. So Dinner by the River. So we did one. Feels like ages ago now, but it was probably about a year or 2 years ago now. So the first Dinner by the River, which was down at Governor Phillip Park. We had about 800 people in the paddock, 250 people sit down dinner. It was fun. We had Dragon playing for that event. It was just all over the shop, and look, everyone all the punters that were there had a great time. It was just could have been improved. So we took it back to the drawing board and righto, how can we improve it? That was when the first COVID hit. After that. So we had all these plans to sort of roll these events out and move forward. But the first COVID hit, and then that sort of shut that down. Then we came back out of the release of COVID. So in between those two COVID lockdowns, we were out. We were all partying, and it was all great, and it was all no dramas. So when I say no dramas, we're in a fucking flood. Fucked. So all whole of Hawkesbury. So we were going to start up some more Dinner by the Rivers, but then we got flooded and it all went to shit. So then Dave and I, we wanted to put a flood relief concert together. So we did that. We had about 2,500 people in the paddock. You were there,
I was there.
drinking all my free piss.
All right, let's set this fucking straight. Because...
So we had a photographer turn up. As it turns out, because it all came out in the wash after, Matt was a photographer on site.
I was one of the photographers.
One of the photographers.
It was multiple.
And we're going, who's this guy out the back taking fucking great photos? The photos were exceptional at the other end. I've gone, who's that guy? It's Dave. And Dave goes, I've got no idea who the fuck he is. And I've gone, what? Well, he's got a press pass.
Yeah. It was with the Blue Phoenix.
Yeah, so neither of us could touch it. So you had a press pass, so someone gave it to you, so it was all good. Oh, yeah, righto. No, I came back. He's all drinking the piss. I'm going, who's this prick? And then I saw you at Clarendon, and I went, you drank all my free piss, you prick.
I didn't drink as much as you thought because I didn't know there was a bar out the back until about 5 p.m.
Yeah, thank God for that, because you were there at 12. So it saved a fortune there.
So I was buying them up until that point, but I reckon I only drank about maybe 8 or 9.
Yeah, that's all right.
So
look, it was as you would have known, you were at the back, so it was a great event.
Oh, and a great vibe.
And I think it was. So we raised, I think it was about 70 grand for. So we raised that for Rotary. So Rotary distributed all those funds.
Yeah.
So we got a list of all these people that got, whether it was $100, $500, or 2, 3, 10 grand, or whatever it was. So there was heaps of people that got some money. So that was cool. So yeah, that was that concert, and we had a heap of artists playing on that. But that wasn't our Dinner by the River concept. That was just us. That was Dave and I sort of putting on a gig for that.
Yeah.
So Dave and I are now in talks of putting some more gigs together and finally try and get them up off the ground. So fingers crossed, possibly at the arse end of April for the first one, second one in September, and have a big, massive one at Christmas.
Yeah.
So there's an exclusive for you. But that'll be that's our guide. That's what we're sort of aiming for. It'll be really cool. So it'll be a Dinner by the River. So we'll have, maybe 250 people sit down, 3-course meal, another 150 sort of like 150 on a grazing board and sort of a couple of chairs, and they can chill out there. They've got their area. And then we're going to do some party tents. So you can do like a group booking, so you can have that. Yeah. And then we've got the GAs. So super pumped. I think the concept that we've got together will work and certainly will sell. I suppose from an operator's perspective, we're nervous. Today's climate, the short answer, it's fucked.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You never know, especially
you don't.
Especially with the arts industry and the hospitality industry together.
Absolutely.
They're like the two that keep getting fucked the most.
Yeah, and I suppose when we did the flood relief concert, we went to all the artists, and the first ones that get smashed in a fundraiser or a raise money event are the artists, because they do a concert and you got to do it for nothing and you raise money and blah blah blah. Well, the artists have they had no work. So we went to all the artists that played. They all got paid. Like we just said, we want you there for that day. How much is your fee? They told us the fee, and then they found out we didn't tell them what the gig was for. Do you know what I mean? Like that we didn't. I don't think it was going to be appropriate to screw them down on price when they haven't had any work.
Yeah.
So anyway, they sharpened. They came back with, they wanted to look after us because they wanted to do their bit as well. But they still got paid, which was great. We still want to punch it along. Do we think now is a good time to do a concert? I think it's a gamble. I think it's a roll of the dice. But I think you have to. And it's an outdoor event. It ticks all the COVID boxes, if
exactly.
as far as all that's concerned.
I mean, outdoor events.
Yeah.
This is the thing that it pisses me off, is they've changed their mind on that so many times.
Oh, they moved the goalposts. They do it on a daily basis. There's no doubt about that.
If you have footy players there playing footy, mate, you'll get away with it. So just do that.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
That can be the headline.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Just go, oh no, it's a stadium.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's a stadium and it's a sporting event and we're betting on it. So,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
So
the government's making money.
Yeah. So I sort of think that it will work as far as an outdoor event is concerned. Our other problem is going, do people have the funds to do it? Are they that keen to do it? All the costs have gone up. And again, we're back in that same situation. Yeah, sure, we're putting on a gig, but at the same time, we don't really want to... All the hire companies that do all the tables and chairs and the marquees, they've all had no work.
Yeah.
The artists, they've had no work. All of these sort of... Both the hospitality, as you said, both the hospitality and the music industry have been decimated. Yeah. So we can't really go around, as we did on the first event, and go, righto, who's got your best price? You shop it around and you screw everybody down to price to get the, all of that. We sort of can't go with that approach this time around. So... As far as making it a viable event, chase sponsorship. So let's go to the businesses that have done well through COVID and go, righto, flick us some cash, get your name up there, and we'll do it. So we'll be chasing sponsorship, moving down that road. But yeah, should be fun, should be good. We've got talking to a couple of different artists at the moment for the first gig, and should be good. And
Can you say who?
Oh. I can,
if you want.
No, I don't know. That's Dave's department, so he's talking. He's talking the
And if
artist.
that falls through, and they go, "Oh, but I saw on the fucking podcast."
Yeah, that's right. Matty G's podcast.
Yeah.
Everybody. Yeah, that's right. It'll go viral. Dave will send a viral gun, and you prick, it was the wrong artist.
You said you two were going to be here, cunt.
I said so. We did the first gig, and Dave said, "Oh, we'll get Richard Clapton to play." What's the other Clapton's name?
Eric.
So I told people that we had Eric Clapton playing. That's how much I have no idea about the music game. So I went around and I said to somebody, "Oh, we've got Eric Clapton playing." And they're going, "What?" Yeah. The money thrown at my face. People were just going, "Fuck, we're in."
Yeah.
And I said to Dave, I went, who do we play for the event? He goes, "Oh, I was talking to Richard Clapton." And I went, "All right, cool, that's all right." Oh, fuck it, you're right. No offense to Richard, he's great. So, but yeah,
but he's not Eric Clapton.
But yeah, so it should be good. So we're going to roll on to those events, and it should be fun.
Yeah.
So you'll be there either way, hopefully working, but you'll probably be out the back bar drinking piss.
I'm happy to be the photographer again. And this time I'll bring a case of CC.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And all I want is them putting the ice out.
You'll be
back.
hiding in a corner in a fetal position going, "Where's Jarryd?"
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it should be good.
Yeah, no, it sounds, I'm keen. I'm keen to come again. But I tell you what, that last one, fuck, that was a good night.
Yeah.
Mate, Dicko is a fucking mad cunt.
Dicko's good fun. Look, to be honest, I think, and we went back through all the photos, and there's a heap of photos out the backstage with all the artists, and we had some VIPs come out the back, and they all got photos and all that sort of stuff. I'd have to go through probably about 1,000 photos of different, your photos, all the different photographers there. I was in one photo. And the only photo I was in, I was abusing the fuck out of some security guard because they let somebody in where they shouldn't have. One photo and I'm abusing somebody. Oh, really? So,
well, that sums up you pretty well, doesn't it?
yeah, that's right. It's my customer service. Yeah, that's right. So I couldn't believe that. But I don't think I've ever done so many steps. I think my phone shit its pants at about 40,000 steps for the day. I was just doing laps back and forth. So, but it was a good event. It was awesome. The coppers were happy. Council was happy. It's an awesome venue down there.
Yeah,
like it's right on the river.
It's a great spot.
Yeah,
like it feels like a proper festival.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll change a few things around. I think the food vendors sort of got forgotten about where we put them, so that was certainly on us. They still had a good day, but certainly could have improved their day.
Yeah.
Certainly, as we roll along, there's certainly improvements that we can make.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward. Like large events, that's what I really enjoy.
Yeah. And I mean that's the case with all. Like I mean, if anyone listening has gone to a festival in its first year compared to say Splendor when it first started compared to Splendor now, fucking completely different.
Sure, I still haven't been to Splendor. Michelle's busting to go.
Yeah, come this year.
Yeah,
come camp.
When is it?
July.
You know, to get Michelle over the line.
All right.
Which won't take much.
Yeah, no.
Which won't take much.
I'll just say I'll provide the
all the party favours.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
but no, it's but yeah, like you know, after a couple of years of doing these events, they'll be fucking totally different and improving every time.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, we the first dinner by the river, we cocked up a couple of things and because at the time, like we had a food ban that was running and the power went out on it. So I had Adam, a mate of mine, running around like a fucking dickhead trying to fix that. I'm in a fetal position in the corner of this food truck going, fuck, I've got 500 people standing outside. I'm going, oh God, it's a disaster. We got it back up online and we got everybody fed and it was all good. This is all behind the scenes stuff, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think everybody walked out and went, fuck, how good was that? Dave and I walked out and went, fuck, what a disaster. What a shit fight. But like on the night, Dave jumped up on stage and went, sorry about this and blah, blah, blah. And like we sort of owned the mistakes.
Yeah.
And all the punters, because I think it was such a good vibe, they were forgiving about it. So there weren't certainly a fucking line of Karens with torches and fucking axes trying to come and get us. So, I think it was good. You know, we owned our mistakes down there and made those improvements. Didn't make the same mistakes at the next one, and hopefully won't do it on the third one. So, yeah, it should be good.
Are you surprised that the Hawkesbury hasn't had more
baffled
large events like that?
Baffled.
Yeah, same. That's what I thought when I went there.
Why?
I've been saying for years that you know I can't believe we don't have music festivals here. Like you go anywhere, like, and it's not like, oh well, we're not a big city. Like, no, there's fucking Triple J hold festivals in fucking all these rural places.
Absolutely, like in the middle of
Maitland and fucking all this.
Bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah,
absolutely, and people will turn up. So, look, that's a very interesting question because I'm baffled as to why we don't.
Yeah, because I asked Sarah about it when she was on this podcast.
Look, I think
and she's keen to get behind some.
Yeah, and I can absolutely go to town on council as far as them not being progressive enough to do it, to let them do it. We certainly from the first one, there was absolutely so many walls and barriers to go through. It was not easy. And I acknowledge that I'm probably not the easiest person to work with, and I want everything yesterday. And if I can see a logical solution to that problem, then why can't you fix it? Why can't you do that?
Yeah.
I don't understand why. But it's a government department and red tape. Don't worry about it then. Just turn the other way and I'll sort it out.
Yeah.
Right? I'll fix it. So council now, like certainly now, dealing with council, we sent an email off the other day saying this is sort of our intentions, blah blah blah. Just the vibe now is completely different to what it was. So now it is, absolutely keen. Let's do it. What have we got to do? So now I think council is a bit more loose, but like a bit more flexible in the way that they do things. Because at the end of the day, the running of an event has to be. You have to have flexibility.
Yeah,
shit's changed. Shit changes. Stuff goes pear shaped. That's just part of it.
Yeah.
So I absolutely understand. I get why people haven't done gigs here because it hasn't been easy for them, and council hasn't made it easy. The police might not have necessarily made it easy. All of these different departments that you have to deal with don't make it easy. So we've now got an awesome relationship with the coppers, with council, the RFS, all of these sort of departments we've now got a great relationship with. So now we're sort of getting, it's a bit easier for us. But it shouldn't be like that. It should be if somebody comes in and goes, we want to do a big gig, it should be just as easy for them.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be because we've had to develop the relationships. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think council are now a bit more forthcoming as far as doing things. I suppose as far as hospitality in Windsor and Hawkesbury in itself, I think has stepped up in itself.
Hugely.
I think Windsor's got some cracking venues now. I think Hawkesbury in general's got some cracking venues.
Yeah, Richmond's done up.
Richmond, so Copperstone, the Copperstone restaurant in Richmond, we're going there tonight, actually, for dinner. Circa, I think it's pronounced, which is in Windsor. It's just a little 15.
Is that the one you went to?
Yeah, we went to last week, the week before that I haven't stopped talking about for the last fuck. So it's a little, top end, right? So 15-seater, 20-seater, did a 5-course. 5-course, the food was absolutely exquisite. The service was absolutely top shelf. It was great. It was really excellent. So they could not have done that 5 years ago in Windsor, or certainly 10 years ago. And I had a restaurant in Windsor 10 years ago, and I was trying to step it up. Windsor wasn't ready for it. Yeah. I think Windsor certainly is now, and I think the Hawkesbury is now. So they can have those sorts of restaurants. So I think the quality of food and service in the Hawkesbury has stepped up, and I think they're getting it. It's good.
Yeah.
There's a lot less empty shops in Windsor, which obviously means something because they're not going to be full if there's no trade.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think hospitality across the board is better, and that's why I think there should be more big events. And sure, we've got an Australia Day event down at Governor Phillip Park, and there's a couple of events that roll through the year in Hawkesbury, but fuck all.
Yeah, fuck all. And nothing really to do with on the scale we see in so many other places. You know,
so the flood relief concert was the biggest music concert that the Hawkesbury's ever had.
Yeah.
It wasn't that big.
Yeah.
It wasn't that big. You know, like at the end of the day, Splendor's 10 times that. So all of these other festivals are 10 times that size.
And we have the room.
We have the capacities for it.
Yeah.
Traffic and parking and all that sort of stuff can be issues, but there are solutions.
Yeah.
And I think
but there are also issues in lots of
anywhere
other
else they are. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, if that means that Dave and I have got to, be the ones that are really sort of stepping up Hawkesbury's from that concert festival type situation, fucking book it in. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll do that. I'm happy to take the lead. Yeah.
Would
do
you
a
ever
community service to do all the festivals in Hawkesbury?
Would you ever run something like, say, like Groove and say,
fuck yeah.
Say Triple J came and talked to you
absolutely
tomorrow and said, hey, we want to do a Groovin' in the Hawkesbury.
Absolutely, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in. And I think that just sort of showed, because we put that flood relief concert together, we put that together in probably 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I think. And I put a lot of people offside by doing that because I was 8 weeks to do it. So fucking move your ass. Do you know what I mean? There was no red tape. Like, there was plenty of red tape that had to be, configured around, but we just had to keep moving forward. And that showed that we sort of had a bit of diversity, that we can just put on a big, massive concert, a lot of music, loud music, big stage, people in the paddock, and we did that. So I think we can do the sit-down dinner meal and have a really nice, elegant event with lovely music, with nice music, good sort of tunes, and then we can do a big concert and anything in between. So I'd be super pumped to do some massive event over 3 days or whatever it is. Fuck yeah, absolutely. And the Hawkesbury's got it. The Hawkesbury can do it. Yeah. We've got, I think now we're getting the accommodation, certainly with the Airbnbs and all that sort of stuff. The Crown was sort of the only high-end accommodation that we had here. Now we've got some lovely high-end accommodation as well for that.
Yeah.
Then we've got some motels that are great, and everything in between. So I think the accommodation sort of comes in is a massive player in that. I think we can do it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
I know you'll be at every one of them.
I fucking hope
crawling out of the gate at whatever time it finishes, working or not working.
Yeah, it probably won't be working if it's like a Triple J sort of festival. I'd be way too off my head to hold that camera.
Oh, I could imagine. But you'd still try. You'd still try it. Yeah.
Got selfies, cunt.
Is that on video? His jaw's still swinging. Absolutely.
Yeah, my jaw would be over here. Yeah. The fucking camera would
No
be
pass
pointing over
out,
there.
mates. Bring the jaw back in. Absolutely.
Oh, fuck yeah. But well, speaking of that, actually, we'll talk about the hospitality industry a little bit.
Yeah, good. Great.
In terms of, obviously drinking, I think I drink a lot more now since I started working at Claro.
Yeah.
Not that we can really drink there at the moment.
No.
But I still then go out and have a few drinks
have a drink,
after and that. And I never used to, not on a weeknight anyway. Or, but I think drinking's a big part of it. So what were you saying? You're saying to me up there.
So I suppose everybody that... This is... I've always said it as far as chefs are concerned, but it's probably a bit more broad than that. But as far as chefs are concerned, you're either an alcoholic, a gambler, or a drug user. Or if you're lucky, you get to be all of the above, right? And I've always said that as far as chefs are concerned. But it is. In the hospitality, you got to have a staff here at the end of the night. And I'll be the first one to be in the kitchen that'll absolutely tear somebody's head off or just absolutely abuse the fuck out of anybody or throw a plate at them. But as soon as service is finished, we're all having a smoke, a drink, and chill out and relax, and not a word is spoken about the World War III that just happened. Do you know what I mean? So I'm all for that. So, but hospitality is, as a whole at the moment, pretty fucked. It's really bad. So staffing is horrendous. There's just no staff, as you know. Like I'm trying to find staff for Clarendon. I'm trying to find staff for Hillbilly. I'm opening another venue in about 2 or 3 weeks over at Londonderry. I don't know how I'm going to staff that. It's bad. It's really tough out there, and I suppose as far as a chef's front of house, bar, anything like that, hospitality was the first to close and the last to open. Yeah. So, you've got all these people that were happy to sit at home and take that free money and all that sort of stuff. That's fine. That happened, and that you're in that situation, whatever it is. But then you also had the other crowd that go, well, I'm still keen to work, or I'm still keen to press on. So they found whether it be stacking shelves or whether it be whatever it was in a different industry that was still going. Yeah. So you had a lot of chefs and hospitality workers that just went, well, fuck it, I'll go pack shelves, or I'll go do something else. And then the hospitality's opened back up, and they've gone, fuck that, I'm not going back. Yeah. Why would you? Yeah. Working weekends, working your ass off over the weekends, never seeing your family, doing these stupid hours. Why would you go back to the hospitality industry? Yeah. So I get it. I understand why. I can rattle off half a dozen chefs I know that are now out of the industry after the second lockdown, going, I'm not coming back. I'm out. I'm earning the same, if not better, if not slightly less, whatever it is, by not being in the game. But I either see my family more, or get my weekends, or I'm not having a plate thrown at me by some fat prick at the pass. I understand it. I get it. And after 2 lockdowns, how much can a koala bear? Do you know what I mean? I'm out. I don't want to do it anymore.
I know, and it is, and it's.
Well, we've got you as front of house. We're fucking scraping the bottom of the barrel, are we?
You guys would be fucking lost without me.
You are there only from a humour point of view.
Without me, yous would be fucked.
Yeah, probably.
Well, front of the house would be anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Chef would be all right.
But it's tough. It's really hard out there. And
well, I mean, before lockdowns and that, even when it was, before we could even see fucking a pandemic coming, hospitality was already a pretty. In terms of industry, it's a tough industry to work in.
Yeah.
And now that it's so, it's the first thing to close. As soon as fucking cases go, they start talking lockdowns. It's like, pubs will shut again. Yeah. And it's like, fuck me, mate. Yeah. Jesus. And then they are the last to open because they're, high risk fucking,
that's right.
Whatever it is. Even though there's so many other things that people can do that are
absolutely. And I suppose we're really sort of shitty about the whole, we wanted to be able to push these events, but we can't do an outdoor event. But yeah, we can pack ANZ till 25,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But and it's not across the board. And look, I wouldn't want the Premier's job for quids, right? I get it. I get it'll be a tough gig. But at the end of the day, you're meant to set the bar. You're meant to be the answer to everybody's questions. So if you're not getting it right, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I got all sorts of issues with the whole COVID thing, but you've got to roll with the punches. And I didn't want the vaccine, but I had to get it. I had to do it because I wanted to get back to work and get everything happening. Do you know what I mean? And I understand arguments on both sides, but yeah, that's a shit go. But I think, as far as coming back to the hospitality game, I don't know, and I have massive issues as far as training chefs coming through the ranks and new chefs, new people coming into the game. We can't rely on Channel 7's MasterChef or Channel 7's MasterChef to be bringing in our new fucking generation of chefs. So,
because I'll end up just with a cooking show anyway.
They end up with a cooking show, and they're not going to help us anyway.
Yeah.
So, right. So I'm really concerned about what the industry is going to look like in 10, 15 years. There's going to be a lot less qualified people, a lot more ad hoc training, and good, bad, or otherwise, I think that's just what it's going to be. Having said that, in the same breath, I don't think a chef's certificate is necessarily worth the paper it's written on, because I can rattle off another half a dozen names that I know that aren't necessarily qualified chefs that can absolutely hold their own in every way. Yeah. So I understand that, but I think there's no. I was only speaking to a TAFE, my old TAFE teacher last week. There's very little that are registered to do apprenticeships, and all the apprenticeships are done in house, and it's just shit. So I think the state government or the federal government or whoever runs the TAFE system really needs to step up. I don't want to go political, but the TAFE industry, the TAFE in itself is really cooked, really fucked. So there's a pun there somewhere. Yeah. So something needs to give there, and I just think MasterChef's not the answer, and I don't think MasterChef has helped, because everyone's just all bleary-eyed on going, how good's cooking, and it's all, get your tweezers out, and we're gonna fuck, mate, let's just pump some meals out, and, you know what I mean? So it's good, bad, or I don't know. It's tough. I don't have the answer, but I think the hospitality could be coming into a lot worse. It could be rolling into a bit of a hard spot. Yeah. With the lack of people that are coming into it. Yeah. And people leaving out.
And constant shutdowns and that.
They don't help.
Well, it doesn't help, because people want job security, especially in a time like this.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They just think the hospitality industry just does not.
There's no security there at all.
Yeah. So you talked about a new venue. Which is opening in, what did you say, 3 weeks?
Yeah, so we just got a little burger joint. So we've got a 40-foot shipping container that got moved out to a site at Londonderry. Just going to do so through the lockdowns, we had a food trailer at home, and we had sort of wet your whistle burgers and hot dogs. It got us through both lockdowns. Did really well. The second lockdown, I had it parked. So we've got some acres out at Ebenezer, so we had it parked in the paddocks down the bottom. It was great. It was awesome. So people were lobbing up, and certainly having a venue on that side of the river, people are going, fuck it, there's food. What do you mean? There's food on this side of the river? Yeah. So we did really well. So we were just going to sort of replicate that style of burger and hot dog or that over at Londonderry. So it's called the Bun Zone. So it'll be a bit of a piss take on tradies. So we had a 40-foot, we had a container over at Nepean Hospital, so we were feeding all the tradies over there. So that was a bit of an insight on dealing with sparkies and plumbers and gyprockers and painters, and every trade hates each other, or every trade hacks on one other trade. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there was massive stereotypes that just got thrown around at a trade site. Do you know what I mean? So that was a bit of an inspiration, which is fucking lovey-dovey word, but that was the idea of the Bun Zone. So it was going to be sort of a construction zone type vibe, and each burger or hot dog was basically going to take the piss out of a tradie. So I think we've got about an $80 burger on there. So it's an $80 burger. So we've got truffle mushrooms, really nice high-end cheese, Wagyu patty, and house-made bun, so it's this really, really lovely gold leaf lettuce and all this sort of stuff, and high-end burgers at $80, but that's going to be the electrician, but and it's not going to be available for 2 weeks, so you're not going to be able to order it. So
my dad's a smart.
yeah, there you go. He can come in and order it and then not be available for 2 weeks. Yeah. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to do the plumber, and all these burgers and hot dogs are going to have these stereotypes that are associated with them. You know, so. That should be open in about 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That'll be a bit of fun, but we'll still keep Clarendon going and still help Hillbilly Cider out and still do these big events. So that's just sort of another venue that we can we've got our hands on it there, so we'll just keep it going. So yeah.
No, that sounds that's fucking
sounds like a hoot.
I'm gonna come and get a fucking burger for sure. For sure. But yeah, I guess we'll finish it up there. But if there's anything you just want to say to anyone out there who, you know, in terms of the events you want to be running, your new venue, anyone watching, go ahead.
Well, I think I've probably given the hospitality a bit of a bollocking here, but it's great fun.
It is fun.
You should totally come and do it.
Yeah.
Don't let me talk you out of it.
Just come for a bit. Doesn't have to be a lifelong thing.
That's right, yeah. And I suppose, just stemming on that, it's like, the industry is awesome, and I love it. It's great, right?
Yeah. I definitely have and I will say this honestly, I definitely have a lot more good times at work than shit times.
Look,
it's a good vibe. It's always
absolutely,
a good vibe.
And I think, and that was a massive point that I made at Clarendon, and certainly any venue that I work at. I don't care about pretty much anything else as long as the morale's right.
Yeah.
And you need to, and I'm the first to take the piss of the highest order, right? So, but at the same time, if you can't give it back, I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to have that relationship with the crew that you're working with, that it needs to be fun. And if it's not fun, don't do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I work far too many hours to turn up to a venue that I don't want to turn up to. So it needs to be fun. And I think we've certainly got that vibe at Clarendon. I think all the crew that are there now really enjoy coming to work.
Yeah. I think the customers notice that too.
Absolutely. And the customers will notice that because we're all having fun. So as long as the morale's right, it'll all just roll on from there. But the hospitality is great. Anybody that wants to start an apprenticeship, book it in. Like, get it in. I can give you all the details for that. Get into the game. And any chefs that have sort of bailed on the industry, get back into it. Like, it's a struggle. You know, we do need we do need those guys back in the game. We need some good front of house and bar staff, and we need all those guys, because all those ones that have left the industry were all good workers. Do you know what I mean? They're the ones that have gone, well, fuck it, we're not going to sit on our hands and dick around with the lockdown. We need to keep working. So they are the crowd, like, they are the good ones. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, they need to come back.
Now we're stuck with Flash.
Now we're stuck with fucking stuck with Flash and and then we're now training people that have never been in the game, because we need more crew. Yeah. And then we get results like yourself. So, which is just there for the comical value.
Fuck you.
No, but all good, man. Like, Dinner by the River's going to come up, and keep an eye on that. And yeah, it's all fun and games.
Get keen, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks,
it's been
mate.
fun.
Thank you for the porn room. It's great.
Hey, they can't see the rest of the room. All they can see is here.
Are we casting this lady after this? I'll be back.
And remember, guys, speak free with Matty G.
Thanks, dude.